You are standing at the kitchen counter. It is late. The house is quiet, and something small and dark just darted across the tile near the baseboard. You lean closer. Flat body, long antennae. And at the back, those unmistakable curved pincers, like a tiny pair of pliers, bolted to its tail. An earwig. Your hand is already reaching for a paper towel, maybe a shoe. Maybe you are already imagining it crawling toward your ear while you sleep, because someone told you that story when you were a child, and it never fully left. Stop! Put the shoe down, because the story you were told about this creature is one of the oldest lies in the history of insects. And the truth about what it actually does in your home and your garden is so far from that myth that by the end of today, you may never look at an earwig the same way again. This is the European earwig, Forficula auricularia, and every single thing you think you know about it is almost certainly wrong. Let's start with the name. The word earwig comes from the Old English word earwicca, which translates roughly to ear creature. That name traces back over 1,000 years, likely rooted in a superstition recorded as early as Pliny the Elder's Naturalis Historia around the year 50 AD. The myth claimed that earwigs crawl into the ears of sleeping humans, bore through the eardrum, and lay eggs inside the brain. Some versions said this caused deafness, others said insanity. The story spread through nearly every European language. In French, the earwig is called perce-oreille, meaning ear piercer. In German, Ohrwurm, meaning earworm. The creature's identity, in almost every culture, was built entirely around a thing it does not do. Entomologist May Berenbaum, recipient of the National Medal of Science, examined roughly 10 centuries of medical and entomological literature, looking for documented cases of earwigs entering human ears. She found one case across 1,000 years of records. Earwigs are nocturnal insects that prefer moist, dark spaces close to the ground. They are attracted to leaf litter, mulch, bark, and decaying wood. They are not attracted to human ear canals. They have no biological interest in your head. The myth is a medieval superstition that somehow survived into the modern world completely intact, and it has been shaping how people treat this insect ever since. Here is the part most people never hear. The creature you have been killing on sight is one of your garden's most effective pest controllers. Earwigs are omnivores, but a significant portion of their diet consists of exactly the insects that destroy your plants. They eat aphids, mites, insect eggs, and the larvae of other pests. In citrus orchards across the Mediterranean, researchers using molecular gut content analysis found aphid DNA present in 30% of field-collected earwigs, even during months when aphid populations were extremely low. That finding, published through the Universitat Autònoma de Barcelona, suggests that earwigs are not simply opportunistic feeders. They apply early seasonal pressure on aphid populations before those populations have a chance to explode, effectively disrupting the pest cycle at its most vulnerable point. In apple orchards in Washington state, a study funded by the Sustainable Agriculture Research and Education Program found clear evidence that earwigs suppressed woolly apple aphid populations without causing any measurable damage to fruit. The researchers also found that many orchard managers were spraying insecticides specifically to kill earwigs, not realizing they were eliminating one of the most effective biological controls for the very pest they were trying to manage. The study concluded that greater appreciation for earwigs and conservation of their populations in integrated pest management strategies could reduce insecticide use while improving pest control outcomes. Growers were killing the solution and then paying for a replacement. In organic citrus orchards, the data is even more striking. A study published in Biological Control found that aphid infestation in trees with earwig populations present was consistently less severe than in trees without them. Aphid density was negatively correlated with earwig abundance. More earwigs meant fewer aphids. The relationship was not subtle. And earwigs do not stop at pest control. They are decomposers. They feed on decaying plant material, dead insects, and organic debris, breaking it down into smaller particles and cycling nutrients back into the soil. In a compost pile, they are doing exactly the work you want done. In your garden beds, they are quietly accelerating the process that turns last season's leaves into next season's fertility. Now here is where the story becomes extraordinary, and it has nothing to do with your garden. The earwig is one of the only non-social insects on Earth that practices dedicated maternal care. The female earwig lays her eggs in a small underground burrow during winter. She then remains with them for weeks. She does not leave to feed. She physically turns and repositions each egg. She licks them continuously, and that licking is not incidental. Researchers at the University of Basel published findings in the journal Behavioral Ecology demonstrating that maternal egg attendance in Forficula auricularia serves as a direct social defense against fungal infection. When eggs were experimentally exposed to mold spores, mothers significantly increased their grooming duration. The chemical compounds transferred through grooming, identified as hydrocarbons, were maintained on attended eggs but decreased substantially on unattended ones. Eggs without a mother present were far more likely to succumb to mold. The mother earwig is not simply sitting on a nest. She is running an antimicrobial defense system with her own body. After the nymphs hatch, she continues to care for them. She provisions them with food. She guards them against predators. Most earwig species remain with their young through at least 2 molts. Every research species of earwig has exhibited some form of maternal care. In an insect order with roughly 2,000 species spread across every continent except Antarctica, that is an extraordinary behavioral constant. And then there are the wings. The earwig has a pair of hind wings hidden beneath those short, leathery forewings you can barely see. When deployed, those hind wings expand to 10 times their folded size, one of the highest folding ratios in the entire animal kingdom. The wing does not unfold the way paper unfolds. It uses a system of protein-rich joints that act as both extensional and rotational springs, locking the wing open during flight without any continuous muscular effort. And when flight is over, a single mechanical click collapses the entire structure back into its compact package. No muscles required for that either. Researchers at ETH Zurich and Purdue University published a study in the journal Science showing that this folding system cannot be described by any existing origami model. The earwig's wing uses what they call incompatible folding patterns, crease geometries that violate the rules of traditional paper folding. The team used these biological principles to develop 4-dimensional printed structures with programmable self-folding behavior, with applications in aerospace, robotics, and deployable architecture. The insect you crush with a paper towel carries engineering that some of the best materials scientists in the world are still trying to replicate. So, what should you actually do when you find an earwig in your house? If it is indoors, it wandered in by accident, probably drawn to moisture or light. It poses no threat to you. It will not bite you, sting you, or go anywhere near your ears. You can place a piece of damp newspaper on the floor overnight, and by morning, the earwigs in the area will have gathered underneath it. Pick it up, take it outside, and set it near your garden or compost. You've just relocated a decomposer, a pest controller, and a devoted mother to the place where she can do the most good. If you are finding large numbers indoors, that usually means there is excess moisture near your foundation. Check for leaking gutters, poor drainage, or mulch piled directly against your walls. Solve the moisture problem and the earwigs will have no reason to come inside. This is a creature that has existed for over 200 million years. It survived the extinction that killed the dinosaurs. It carries wings that engineers study, and maternal instincts that researchers use as models for the evolution of social behavior. And it was given a name 1,000 years ago based on something it never did. That name stuck. The fear stuck. And generation after generation, people have been killing one of the most quietly useful creatures in their garden because of a lie that is older than the English language itself. Have you ever found earwigs gathered under a pot, inside a shoe left on the porch, or tucked into the folds of laundry left outside? Tell me about it in the comments. I read every single one, and this is exactly the kind of story this community was built for. And if you want to understand another creature that has been living in your walls far longer than you have, one that builds something you have walked past 1,000 times without ever knowing what it really is, the next video is already waiting for you. This is 6 Legs Deep. I will see you in the next one.